Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, welcome to another episode of Monologue Monday. This is the third episode of Monologue Monday, and what Monologue Monday is a vlog series where I just sit in front of this camera and I talk to you guys about whatever's going on in the world of gaming, whatever's gone on the past week, all the topics I collect up, and I discuss them with you guys, the people of YouTube. And we got a lot of topics on the ballot here today. A lot of topics. And this video is actually coming out 2 days late, going up on a Wednesday. Not a Tuesday, not a Monday, which is when it's supposed to come out. But we got a lot of stuff going on here, and I don't even know where to begin. I want to talk a little bit about Nintendo is going to start making mobile games. Final Fantasy Type O, I just did a review on that, and I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the 15 demo. I want to talk about PlayStation Vue, which is PlayStation's TV service. God of War 3 is getting remastered. What does that mean? Half of Evolution is reportedly getting laid off. And, the new Hearthstone expansion, that got announced last week. A lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. Bethesda's getting their own press conference at E3. What does that mean? We're going to talk about that a little bit. And Bloodborne. Bloodborne came out yesterday, and I got it. And it's fucking hard. Bloodborne is fucking hard. It's difficult. Very difficult. And I knew it was going to be difficult. And that's where we're going to start the show. Is talking about me just getting my ass kicked over and over and over and over again in Bloodborne. And you get some type of masochistic satisfaction of just getting your ass handed to you repeatedly over and over again. And then just getting back up, getting new armor, trying to progress. If you haven't beaten the first boss yet, you can't even level up. And just trying to pull enemies one by one, kill them, pull another enemy, kill him, do all that, get to the first boss and then die. Or beat him if you can. I doubt you will. I don't even know if anybody's beaten the first boss in the first go. And then from there, I think after you encounter him, you could finally start to level up and stuff like that, and then just farm your blood oath things, or whatever they're called, which is basically replacing souls from Demon Souls and Dark Souls. If you've played either of those games, you know what that's all about. And it's from the same developer and producer, and it seems like that's all they make. Just these type of really difficult games, and it's literally just a really pretty, slightly different Dark Souls, Demon Souls. That's literally it. It's the exact same thing, and everybody pretty much knew that going into it. It's still going to sell incredibly well. It's still very satisfying, and I think that's why I like it, even though it kicks my ass so much more than any other video game I've ever played. When you do finally get strong enough, when you do finally get that armor or that weapon that you need, or you figure out the strategy to beat a certain guy, and you get over the hill, get over the hump, it's like the best feeling, because he's probably kicked your ass about 10 times prior to this. You finally get up there. Every time he kills you, you lose all your blood orbs and stuff like that, and you basically got to start from scratch. You keep certain items that you find, key items and stuff like that at each playthrough, so you don't have to do that again. But all your currency, like the blood oath things, the orbs, the souls, whatever you want to call them again, that's the currency. That's what you're going to use to buy things. We're going to use to buy armor, upgrade things, etc., etc. And when you finally beat that son of a bitch, when you finally get there, it just feels so good. And I think that's all of this masochistic, I think that's the draw to the game, all this self-punishment, self-pain, even though you're not really inflicting it to yourself. But at the same time, you kind of are, right? Because if it's bothering you that much, what's stopping you from taking the game out of your console? Unless it's digital, of course, or playing another game. You get what I'm talking about. You could just not do it. But I just did it. And I was up fairly late last night actually playing this game. And I needed to go to bed to get up for work this morning. And I just kept getting punished over and over and over again. And no matter how many times I got punished and beat up and kicked while I was down, I still got up and I wanted to go kill that son of a bitch. I will get my revenge on you, you little fucking shield-wielding trench coat guy. Fucking asshole. But anyways, yeah, so Bloodborne's super fun. I'm going to do a review on that. But I say that, but maybe not. It's going to take a long time. That's a game that you can pump like 40 hours into and not even be halfway done. And it's not just it's just a progression thing, because you're gonna, in order to progress, you have to be a certain strength, you have to have a certain amount of things, you have to have certain upgraded armor, upgraded weapons, and you might just pump a whole bunch of time just failing. You can pump 40 hours in that game just literally failing over and over and over and over again until you finally get it right. So maybe I won't. I'll probably do like an impressions video of it. But from the mechanics are solid. Mechanics are very solid, and it's a very nice game. And I think people are really going to like it going forward, and I like it right now. And then, speaking of games, first-party Sony games, God of War 3 is getting remastered for PS4. And if you've watched any of my other Monologue Monday videos, specifically I think the one last week, you know where my stance is on like remastered games and remakes. There's a silver lining here. I think it's a waste of time, but the silver lining here, of course, being, if you're reading in between the lines, is that Sony's going to make God of War 4 for PS4. Now, where do you stand on that? Me personally, if they do it right, I'm all for it. But what are we at? 6, 7 God of War games? Really? Really? 7? Kratos is badass, but I'm getting sick and tired of looking at his fucking pale white face. I am. I think that studio, Sony Santa Monica, I'm pretty sure, are the ones who do it. They just need to move on. They just need to cut it and just move on. Just go in a different direction. Do another game. Do something different. I know God of War is their bread and butter. That's what they're comfortable with. That's what they're good at. Great. I'm all for it. And like I said, if they make God of War War 4 work, then great. That's awesome. But I don't see how that happens. If I don't want to spoil anything for people who are waiting for the God of War 3 remaster, who haven't beaten the series, maybe you played Xbox and you're coming over to PS4 and you don't, and you never played the series. But the ending of God of War 3 is pretty absolute, except for like the after the credits scene. People who beat the game know what I'm talking about. So it could be open, but there's nothing with it. They can't do anything. They can't do anything. And if you beat the game already, you know what I'm talking about. So they're gonna have to work their asses off to try to figure something out to make this work. But I just don't see how it happens. I just don't know. And like I said, on remasters, I know it's only gonna be $40, or at least I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that it was gonna be $40. But if it's $60, no. Just no. $40, I guess, is reasonable if you never played it, or if you just want to play it again with really great graphics. It's fine. It's wonderful. Go ahead and do it. But I just think it's a waste of money, and I think it's pulling developers away from creating good new content. And don't get me wrong, sequels and stuff like that are great for, designated, game franchises within reason. You can't overdo it. 6 God of War games? Come on. Come on. If you've also been paying attention, announced, I think it was yesterday or today, at the time of the recording of this video, PlayStation Update 2.5 is coming out. Super excited about that. It lets you do the suspend resume option, for certain games. Obviously, maybe like Bloodborne and like Destiny, maybe you wouldn't be able to do that because of the way that the game works. But basically, the idea is you put your PlayStation in the rest mode, you turn it back on, bang, you're right where you left off. Say you're playing, I don't even know what's a good example. Say you're playing The Last of Us. You're at a point, the checkpoint was a little bit behind you. Checkpoint coming up is not very close. You got to go to bed. You got work in the morning. You don't want to have to trudge through all that bullshit. Put your PS4 in the rest mode. You go to work. You come home. Do whatever you do. You turn your PS4 back on. Boop. Right where you left off. That's fucking awesome. That's really cool. That's one of the cool features that they announced, I think, when the PS4 originally got announced. Almost 2 years ago. Right? 2013? Yeah. 2013 around like February is when the console got announced. It didn't come out until November of that year. But yeah, so it's about 2 years since they announced that was going to be with the console. It didn't come out on launch, which was very disappointing. A lot of features that they said are coming to the console, share play, stuff like that, which are out now, didn't come with the console. Obviously, they had to do a lot of work. They're probably still doing a lot of work on the stuff to get it to come out. But I'm very excited about that. There's a lot of other stuff that's going to be coming out in this update that I kind of forgot, because that was the main important one. You're going to be able to play movies and stuff like that, and game saves and stuff onto USB hard drives and flash drives and stuff like that. And it said that there's going to be able to put games on USB like hard drives. That's kind of dicey. Super cool that you could do it. It's going to save people a crap ton of hard drive space. I put out a video about that too, not too long ago, about how my hard drive space was getting filled up. I bought a 2 terabyte and installed that, but that's another thing for another time. That's really cool. A lot of cool features finally coming out on PlayStation now that the console's got its feet underneath it. And speaking of some of the features coming out on PlayStation Vue is another thing I wanted to talk about. PlayStation Vue is a service that Sony's recently announced. It's only available in 3 cities right now, but I got it. I live in New Jersey, and I'm fairly close to New York City, maybe 40-minute drive away. It's right across the Raritan Bay, and it's New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, I think, are the 3 cities. And basically what it is it's a subscription service to an online television streaming service. There's certain channels you don't get, like ESPN and stuff like that. But it's got I did the 1-week free trial. You could do that. And it's got a fairly decent amount of channels. Spike, Comedy Central, Cartoon Network, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, yada, yada, yada. It's got a lot of the, core channels. And that's very important for it. My problem with it is that it's $50. $50. Say it with me. $50 per month. No. I'm going to do a package deal with my internet provider and get the cable for literally half that. And if you have DirecTV, it's literally a fifth of that. That's asinine. $50 a month? There's no way. And there's other packages which are more expensive than that, which have more channels. There's a $70 package that has their premium, elite, platinum package, or whatever the fuck they call it. And it's got every channel known to man. I wouldn't do that one because I would never watch any of them. But upwards of $70 a month for fucking TV, just streamed over the internet, when you could just get that shit paired with your internet connection for literally a fraction of that, a fifth of that. My math's probably a bit off. It might actually be cheaper than that. But $50? You fucking blowing somebody for $50? Holy shit. That's way too expensive. There's no way. That's way too expensive. That service is not going to live very long life if it stays at $50. And I see when it does go live for more than just the 3 cities that it's in right now, I would not be shocked in any way, shape, form, or fashion if that got an immediate price drop. And it needs to be somewhere in the $30 range. It really does. Because you can get really good cable service for $25, $30 paired in with your internet service, and that's just the way more people are going to go. It's going to be cheaper that way. And cable and satellite services are going to do that to get your business from them because they're already providing you with the cable. The internet, excuse me. And that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know what Sony was thinking with that. It's cool. It comes in great. It's crisp. It's clean. I had a couple of lag issues during a rainstorm not that long ago. But outside of that, it's actually been fairly good. It also depends a whole lot on your upload speed, or is it download speed? Maybe it's download speed. If one of them is really slow, if your internet connection is not very good, then this isn't going to be for you anyways. But it's a cool idea. I like where they're going with it, I guess. It's an option for you, if that's the option you want to go. But I don't know who in their right mind is spending $50 on PlayStation's limited cable, without ESPN, without certain channels, when they can spend a fraction of that to get every channel under the fucking sun. Did they not think of that? Did anybody, like, what was the meeting room like when they pitched this idea? Oh, it's going to be great. We're going to have lots of channels, and it's going to be $50 a month. Did nobody go, ooh, me, sir, me, pick me. I know this one. I know this answer. What about the people that already have cable packaged in with their internet for like literally 80% cheaper than what we're going to charge? No, Johnson. Those people don't have this viewing experience, okay? All right, so why don't you shut your mouth? You speak when spoken to, Johnson. You speak when spoken to. All right, so Johnson's going to be fired. We want to get some resumes in to replace it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what happened? What happened? $50 is just it's asinine. Frankly put, it's asinine. There's no other way to put it. It's just asinine. That's some of the ugly news going on this week. Some of the good news would be Nintendo making mobile games. I don't know, a lot of people have heard about this, but Nintendo is going to dive into the phone, tablet, mobile game genre with some of their franchises, which has some potential, specifically in the tablet area. Phones be a little bit more different, but think about playing Super Mario Brothers on your phone, legitimately. Think about playing Pokemon Blue or Red on your phone, legitimately. Now, it's Nintendo. Nintendo's in some bad shape. Their franchises are very valuable. Their core franchises like Pokemon, Zelda, Mario, Star Fox, yada, yada, yada. So they're going to charge top dollar for their mobile games. It's going to happen. Are they going to have some free-to-play games? Yeah, sure. With like a crap ton of microtransactions probably laden in them, but that's, that's kind of going to be expected if you're getting a free-to-play game. I'd actually rather them charge like $5 for Pokemon Red. Or $2.99 or whatever they're going to charge. I'd gladly pay that to have Pokemon Red on my iPhone. I'd play that on break all the time. That would be fantastic. Or Super Mario World 3 for $4.99 on my iPhone. Play that on break. That's awesome. But I don't know if that's what's going to happen. It's very vague. Nobody really knows a whole lot of information other than Nintendo just basically said, yup, we want our products to be in the hands of more users, and we're going to go after the mobile market. And people were like, whoa, well, that's pretty cool. Pokemon and Mario on my phone. And that's true. Probably. But are they going to have watered down game experiences that aren't, like, I don't know if they're just going to remake those games and then just cram them down mobile phone people's throats. And they will. They should. That would be smart, because people will buy those. People who were around the 1980s, who were like 40 years old nowadays, are going to see that when they're scrolling through the App Store, and they're going to be like, what, Super Mario for $2? Hell yeah, I'll pay that all day. And they'll buy it, and they'll just play Mario on their break, on the bus, whenever, during their commute, if they take public transit or whatever. And they will make a lot of money off of this. This is very smart by Nintendo. A lot of, Nintendo's not going to get enough credit for this. And don't be surprised if you see other companies doing this. Now, obviously, Microsoft has already dealt in this a little bit with the Halo Spartan Assault thing on tablets. They had a little bit of success with that. And, Nintendo's going to have original IPs for mobile games. No question. Not necessarily original IPs, but original games with older IPs. They're going to have a silly Zelda game on your phone, a silly Mario game on your phone. Mario Maker, which is supposed to be coming out this year, next year maybe? I'm pretty sure it's this year. That would be a phenomenal game to put on a tablet. And then if you could imagine using Mario Maker, making a Mario level, and then exporting that to a Mario game that they made for tablets and phones and playing it like that. That's fantastic. That's everything that anybody should ever want from Mario on a phone. That's awesome. I would be lost. I would just get lost on hour breaks on my job. Just like go in the break room and then just vegetate out making Mario levels on my phone. That's awesome. A lot of people criticize them a little bit about it all, like stupid Mario phone games, like why are they wasting their money? There is potential here, and Nintendo needs the money, And they know how to get that money. They always rehash classic IPs and make them great. That's what Nintendo, time and time and time again, has been good at, has been great at. And don't be surprised if they do it here again. And they're going to have a larger audience. You know, adults from back then during the 80s that owned Nintendos, they don't, you know, a lot of them don't own 3DSs. Actually, many of them don't own 3DSs or DSs at all. And they're going to have, but everybody owns a phone nowadays. Everybody owns a phone nowadays, and they can take that software and get it to everybody. Get Mario in the hands of everybody. Get Pokemon in the hands of everybody. Get Zelda in the hands of everybody, and that's fucking brilliant. It's awesome, and it's good for us as consumers, as gamers. It's good for us. Maybe you don't like mobile games. I'm not a fan of mobile games either. The only game I have on my phone is fucking Flappy Bird, and I never play it because I have a 3DS and I have a Vita. But if they put Mario Maker on phones, I'm telling you right now, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. Just take my $1.99 or whatever it's going to be, $15 for the game or $20, whatever it's going to be. I probably would pay that and then just like get lost making levels during break. That's really fantastic. But what's not fantastic is Final Fantasy Type 0. I talked about this a little bit earlier. To transition into my game review, I reviewed Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. Not impressed by it, not thrilled by it. The gameplay was very solid. Everything else was mediocre at best. Didn't like it. Wouldn't recommend anybody to buy it. You can go watch my review on my channel if you really want to hear a little bit more in depth about why I didn't like it. But why am I bringing this up? Well, if you bought the Day 1 edition of Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, you also got the Final Fantasy 15 demo. And this was very smart by Square Enix, who's kind of been trying to get back into the swing of things after the Final Fantasy 13 debacle. And they packaged this demo in there. And I think, and I don't know this for sure, but I wager pretty heavily that Final Fantasy 15's demo sold a lot of copies of Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. I was on eBay, and my friend Dennis was also on eBay, and we were looking at some of these prices, and people were selling demo codes for $30. That's like, people bought this game just for that demo. I know it. I think I know a couple people personally who bought the game just really excited for the demo, like, oh, I really want to play this demo, and then it's like, oh, Final Fantasy Type 0 winds up being a good game. Great. I mean, you know, I have a good game on top of the demo, but I know that there are people that bought this game specifically for the Final Fantasy 15 demo. I wouldn't be surprised if there's people who bought the game, took the little demo thing out of the thing, and then just returned it and got their money back. And that's probably what they should have done, because the game's not worth $60. I regret spending it. I'm probably going to finish the game because I've spent the $60 on it, and I don't want to feel like I completely wasted all my money. But I probably am eventually going to sell it and get rid of it, because it's very meh. It's very meh. And new Hearthstone expansion coming out. That's another topic I want to talk about. I'm a huge Hearthstone fan. I love it. I'm not a huge card game person in general, but I did used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon TGC all the time, and I played Magic for like a little bit, but I was really big into Yu-Gi-Oh! And, you know, I heard about Hearthstone. It's a very good card game by Blizzard. You can Google it if you don't know what it is. It's very good. It's a free-to-play card game by Blizzard. It's very good. It's pretty fair in its free-to-play thing. There are microtransactions, of course. It's how they support the game. But you can earn a lot of cards just by playing the game normally, and I love it for that. And I haven't spent a dime on the game. Actually, no, it's a lie. I spent $20 on the single-player thing. Naxxramas, that's what I did. I spent $20 on Naxxramas. That's the only thing I really bought. Everything else has been just got through the game. And another new single-player expansion. They just recently released Goblins vs. Gnomes, which was just packs. It was just different cards, changing the metagame and stuff like that. Super interesting, super cool. They also released Black Rock Mountain. Not released it, but they announced it. That's the next expansion. It's going to be very similar to Naxxramas. It's going to be, you know, a single-player type experience. You go through these wings, you battle these very difficult, very challenging NPCs with custom decks, with pre-made decks, and you have to beat them, and you unlock cards, you unlock, you know, gold, you unlock all these cool things for doing this, and it's very challenging, it's very difficult, and it adds another layer to the game, which is primarily based off playing other people online, but it's a very cool single player element to the game, and I'm super excited for it. I love Hearthstone. That's like the only Blizzard game I still play. I quit WoW like years ago, and it's very good. I'm very excited for that. That was a pretty cool thing that they announced, and they're going to keep supporting that game, obviously. I'm sure they generate a lot of money out of it and stuff like that. And I think that's it. Nope, no, it's not. I didn't talk about Evolution. So half of Evolution, which is the company that's making Drive Club, in case you didn't know, they got laid off. In case you don't know, Drive Club was supposed to be a launch game, wasn't a launch game, was delayed a full calendar year, which is unheard of. It was delayed like a month, and then it was delayed like 2 months, and then it was delayed 6 months, and then they were like, no, we'll just do it holiday of next year. And then they didn't have the PlayStation Plus version of it right. There was a whole lot of broken things. It's very messy. I'm not surprised by this at all, that half of Evolution is getting laid off. I mean, that is a lot of members of Evolution. I don't know what other projects they were or even could have been working on, considering how bad Drive Club was, all the broken things, all the problems. No PS Plus version coming out, which was promised us to be free for as a launch game. Didn't get that. Didn't get a lot of things. It's sad, when you hear something like this about a really good company. They were highly regarded before Drive Club, which kind of sank their ship. But hopefully they work on a new IP. They get some of their problems sorted out. They hire good talent, and they just get back to it. Also, Uncharted got delayed. I might have talked about this last week, but not surprised at all by it. If you really thought it was coming out this year, it's I don't really know what you were thinking about. It definitely wasn't going to happen. So that does it. That's the gaming topics of the week for Monologue Monday, coming out on a Wednesday. If you liked the video, make sure you share it. All your friends can see my nerdy fat face on their computer screens, not televisions. Maybe televisions if they have the smart TV or a Chromecast. Who the fuck knows? Like, comment, subscribe to the channel for more gaming content. I just did a Final Fantasy Type 0 review if you guys want to check that out. I'm going to be trying to do a Bloodborne review that might not get out. My Hotline Miami 2 review is taking way longer than anticipated because of some issues. I've been playing it a lot on my Vita, which is kind of obnoxious because I like to take my Vita and play around with it, but I can't really record gameplay on it like I would with my PS4. So I'm trying to figure out something around that to get that review out. I want to review some other games too down the line. But that's it for right now. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I appreciate all your love and support. Everybody watching the video and liking it and stuff like that. So that's it. My name is Enzo. Your name is YouTube. And as always, stay classy, Internet.